Hey everyone, it's Sabrina. I hope you're all doing well. The title of this audio video is Timing, the timings of things. I wish to explain the sense of timing to all of you who are wanting to understand universal time or earth and collective time, and even your own personal timings of things unfolding for you in your individual life too. But first, I need to start with the bigger picture to help to give you a broader perspective of how time actually works, at least how time works in the earth realm. But also, and so I just realized this morning, today is August 9, 2026, and something was just telling me to look at the timing perspective in the bigger picture. And so, since August 9, 2026 is a 9 universal month, I don't really like to call it universal because in the universe is timeless. So there isn't necessarily timelines or limitations or restrictions in the universe. So I'm just going to call this the Earth Collective Humanity timeline. So August is a 9. It's closure, it's wrapping things up. It's ending a 9-month human collective cycle. So what does this mean? This means that technically September of 2026 is going to be the beginning of a new, I wouldn't even call it a year. It's a new 9-month cycle. I want to call this a gestation cycle. Why is that? Because, well, it also has something to do with Venus, the planet, and her next retrograde, which begins October 3rd. But when you start to notice the timing of things and the monthly cycles, especially how they are affecting your personal number, your personal numerology, you can also align with the energy for this 9-month gestation period to work with the energy and the influence of each individual number, but also to help you to reach your goals. And when you know what you are limited to manifesting based on your own personal month, it makes it easier to realize what's more important for you to focus on, in any given month. But really quick, I want to take a step back because some people, especially astrologers and philosophers, were calling the March equinox a new cycle, a new beginning. But this is like a much bigger cycle of time, like thousands and thousands of years. And then there are some that believe that August is the beginning of a new Earth humanity year, for lack of better words. And I'm here to tell you that everything overlaps everything else. And so what I have come to believe is that, especially for those of you who are wanting to empower yourselves to make your dreams come true, and you want to align with the timing of things unfolding, it gives you permission to surrender to more specific and fine-tuned timelines. Because why? Well, it makes it easier to be patient while you're building something or trying to create a new life for yourself, or it helps with planning too. It helps you to see the bigger picture and understand how and why certain things do take time to manifest. And so technically the beginning of 2026, which 2026 is a 1 Earth year, but January started off this year as a 2 Earth energy, meaning it started this 9-month cycle of focusing on relationships, not only relationships with ourselves, but relationships with other people and how we cooperate or choose not to cooperate. And honestly, so going back to what I was saying about this 9-month gestation period, Venus has been in the process of completing its transit as an evening star, meaning when Venus is an evening star, she's more intuitive and finding the feels or the people or situations that she resonates with. And it's more magnetic or subconscious, even when Venus is retrograde, which she still is right now. And Venus is going to be retrograde from October 3rd through November 13th. And interestingly, Venus is going to end its retrograde November 13th during a 2 Earth and humanity cycle. It's a 2-month for the collective, all about relationships. And the cool thing is that while Venus is retrograding, she will make the conjunction with the sun. And that's when she becomes the morning star again. And it's more extroverted, it's more outspoken. So it's almost as if the last 9 months, while Venus has been retrograde, we've been, well, many of us have been perceiving on a deeper level or understanding the people in our lives that we want to keep in our lives or the relationships that we want to end, or perhaps realizing, I don't really have the same things in common as somebody else. And so this whole last 9-month process has helped us to intuitively determine who we want to keep in our lives or in our personal circles. Well, and this can even be applied through work as well. It really depends on your personal astrology if you want to get more details about what area of your life you've been navigating your relationships with and to other people. And this is all happening to help us to realize, when we move forward into the next Earth Collective New Year, which is September. It is also at this time that we're all going to be collectively beginning a new timeline, a 9-month gestation period, which is going to significantly influence our relationship patterns. Guess what else is happening in September? Uranus is stationing retrograde. And so Uranus dishes out more of the sudden, unexpected, and rearranging everything that needs to be arranged, that is in alignment with our highest ideals, our personal and collective timelines. It brings change, sometimes tower moments, and even how the Uranus transits affect each of us individually does depend on our astrology, our birthday numbers more specifically. So look to your current astrology transits to see which house or which area of your life is being affected the most right now, especially in August and especially in September, because you should be able to see where your life is heading in the bigger picture. And that is also helpful for creating plans for your future as well, and your goals and your dreams. So here's where I'm talking about how there are layers upon layers upon layers of timing. There isn't really any one exact perfect moment in time, except for the present moment. But so September is the beginning of a brand new Earth cycle. It's a 9-month cycle. It's also a new timeline. And Uranus shall deliver to each and every one of us something new and unexpected. Sometimes it's a twist of fate happening in our favor. It's helpful to believe and surrender and allow the universe to unfold in your life what's in your best and highest good, of course. And then that way you can ensure that everything is always happening for you for positive reasons that are aligned with your life path, your purpose, your destiny, etc. So September is a 1 beginning. Uranus is retrograde. October, Venus will station retrograde. And it's going to be a 2 Earth month about relationships, cooperation, compromise. And then guess what? The other slow-moving planets that have already been retrograde are going to be stationing direct again before the end of this year, 2026. But then January of 2027, which again is a 2 Earth year, Mars begins its retrograde, which it only retrogrades maybe every 2 to 2.5 years. And so in my experiences, Mars retrograde, it kind of undoes something. It undoes. Is that even a word? It undoes the choices or the things that we have taken action on in the past. And it's almost like it's reconfiguring, or it gives us the opportunity to recalibrate or make adjustments with our actions, our intentions, and our goals, etc. So technically in 2027, the beginning of January, or January 10th, I think to be exact, Mars will station retrograde through April 1st. So as far as goals and expectations are concerned, we must respect and allow the recalibration or the integration of our hopes, our wishes, our dreams, our plans, and our actions to finally come together and fall into place while Mars is retrograding. And so technically, April of 2027, we should all collectively feel like we're all moving forward as a collective humanity. Remember, this is an Earth timeline. And like I already mentioned, Mars doesn't retrograde every year. So in 2027, we have an additional 3 months of retrograde to start the year, just to make sure that everybody is in alignment with what everyone needs to be in alignment with to prepare to take action and moving forward in their lives. But also, hopefully, you have learned how to surrender and trust that everything is always happening in your best and your highest interests. And you allow things to, well, settle and fall into place for you for the first 3 months of 2027. And again, this isn't something that Mars is usually doing every year. But in May of 2027, that's when the next season of retrogrades happen again for the rest of that year of 2027. So to sum up, how I perceive this timing is that in September, which is next month, it's a 1 Earth or universal month for the collective, for humanity. And many of us have already aligned with new timelines, higher timelines, and you can choose to align with a higher timeline whenever you feel it's right for you. But technically, it could also be considered a new year, because over the last 8 months, so many things have already changed in many of our lives. And so September brings in a fresh new perspective, a new timeline, new potentials. It's all about the one frequency, the one energy, like ideas, creativity, stepping into something new, aligning with something new, something better, something more empowering. And technically, another perspective could be from September through December of 2026. It puts us in retrospective state, meaning it's a perfect opportunity to reflect back on your life or your year or your current cycles of events, to hopefully bring it all together to gain a deeper understanding of what you've been experiencing or navigating, to consolidate even maybe your own meaning of life, to help you to realize what's ready to be let go of and what you are ready to let go of yourself, so that you can embrace this brand new beginning. So again, layers upon layers upon layers. Anyway, so I'm going to add this video to my non-public playlist, where I am trying to define or redefine to help you understand everything that's in the matrix, including how to determine your personal numbers, how to work with them. And again, everything that you were born with allows you the opportunity to work with it, to improve your life or to enhance your experiences or to achieve your goals. And most of the time, what I realized, when anyone is following their intuition and not doubting, and they're making these choices for yourselves, you're also going to find yourself in perfect divine timing of events unfolding in your life. So you don't necessarily need to know all the specific details, but to just follow your heart, your intuition, and take action towards your heart's desires to make life happen for you instead of waiting around for life to happen to you. So it's a choice point. And I completely realize that some people believe that they have the power to improve everything in their life situation. And I understand that there are those people who feel like they have to settle for what life dishes out to them. And honestly, in my interpretation of that, I think the distinct difference here between these people, some are optimists and some are pessimists. And even whether you are an optimist or a pessimist is something that you brought with you through your birthday portal. It's something that you and your soul chose to navigate and experience within these certain timelines and timings of events that are unfolding for each and every one of us right now. So, and this is also something that I'm doing during this month of August. I'm really just fine tuning. I'm eliminating absolutely everything that is not essential in my life that I don't really need. I'm consolidating. I'm not minimalizing because I'm already living minimally. I am a minimalist, or that's who I chose to become a while back. But now it's more about restructuring my thoughts, where I'm taking action. I suppose I could use the word, I'm choosing to be more impeccable with my intentions, my heart's desires, my actions, and the choices that I make each and every day. So let's consider September 2026 a new year. So what will you subscribe to for your own life, path, and purpose starting in September? Something for you to think about. Are you ready to shift your timelines and step into a new reality? Or is there something else more personal to you that is really trying to get your attention and asking you to focus more specifically on at this time in your life. Remember, there's no wrong choice, but what's important is that you are choosing what's best and right for you and your personal situation at this time. So I hope I hope you enjoyed this video about timing. And also, I hope it gives you the impression that, okay, so this is why we can't necessarily expect anything to happen within a certain timeline, because time is overlapping itself. There's many different filters, there's many different layers. And in the perfect and divine timing, when the timing is ripe, that's usually when things or specific events do show up in our individual lives. So have a wonderful day. And if you have any comments or questions about this, feel free to comment on the video. If you would like to know more specifically about your personal timings of events happening in your life, feel free to reach out and request a reading from me. And, well, I will see you in another video. Bye for now.